Hello and welcome back to my channel. We got more subscribers from last time, quite a few more. Thank you for stopping by and checking out my content. Well, it's after work. I missed working on the car over the weekend, just busy doing other things. So, as you know, we're trying to put a, well, not we're, but I'm trying to put a disc brake conversion kit on. And in that process, found out the fuel gauge wasn't working, and that snowballed into another side project that's you can see in the previous episodes. The main line for the brake line that runs from front to back has been removed. Also, the fuel line has been removed from front to back. I'm going to run. I got some. Stainless steel braided line I'm going to run with some AN fittings. In the process of removing the fuel line, there's a bit of it that I couldn't get to. It's underneath the car on top of the axle here. So I'll take you underneath and we'll take a look to see what I'm dealing with. And I got an idea about how I'm going to get it too. Here's the fuel line, part of it that ran up and over the frame here where the axle at and all that. So I'll show you if I can find it again. I'm using the phone as a flashlight. Okay, so I'll zoom in on this. If I can find it. Here we go. So right here, you see that hole, and just to the left of that you'll see like a protrusion, and then to the left of that again you'll see another protrusion, and that's the bolt. There's a self-threading bolt at that location. That's the first clamp that's holding in the part of the fuel line I got to get at. And then right over here, this one's a lot easier to see. You can see the fuel line right there, the other part where I cut it off. Now I'll zoom in. You actually see the clamp. Now I'll zoom in quite a bit more. That's what I like about this phone, it's got a good zoom on it. You see that pointy part right there? Well, that was gonna, they use those, they stick that in an alignment hole like they did over here for that other one, and find it again. And then you can see the self-threading bolt right there that's in there holding the fuel line in. So if I get those two clamps off, I can fish out the line. Zoom back out. So yeah, so if I can get those two clamps out, I can fish out the line. So here's the game plan. So there's the shock, of course, and this right here, this area above where this clamp is at, is probably the front sill of my trunk. So what I'm going to do is, I probably can't get a drill in here, but I'm going to try to anyway. I'll either drill a hole, a real small one too, like right on line where this is at, where that clamp's at, so I can spot it in the trunk. And then I'll make a calculation of where that hole's at to where the top of this bolt might be, like where my finger's at. And then I'll try and get in the trunk and with a hole saw cut through the trunk from the opposite side and cut a hole in there and try and get in there with a socket and undo that and then later on weld up the hole I made. Now this one is a whole new animal. I don't know if I zoomed out or not. There we go. So this one is right in front of the spring. Okay, and if I pull back, I don't know if I can pull back so you can see everything that I'm seeing. So right here is, so this thing right here is where a bolt screws in for the rear seat belt. And then going up, when I reach behind and feel where that's at, and I can too. Here's my arm going up by hand here. I can feel the top of the, it's actually like a half inch. It's a half inch nut hexagonal part there. And that's the other end of it's the self-threading bolt. So the plan is to try and get a ruler in here somehow, and what I'll do is I'll measure up an eyeball, hopefully the back, I don't know if this is gonna work for the back tray or not, but I'll have to cut into the car up in this area somewhere, and maybe I can use a wobbler or an elbow joint, swivel joint for the socket, and get that one out. And once I can if I get that, then I can get the rest of the fuel line out. And I'd rather, because I want to fish the new one through here the exact same way, and I just don't want this thing in the way. So I gotta try and get it out. And I'm sure that this one up here is going to be easier than trying to figure out how to get this one out. So that is the problem and the plan I'm going with, to try to get those self-threading bolts out of there so I can get the last little bit of that fuel line off from underneath the car, so I can put the new stuff in. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I was underneath the car, my best guesstimation, and this is the seat belt attachment point. So I measured, it was 5.5 inches up and about 1.5 inches over. I'm guessing with where I felt the top of the bolt at with my fingertip up there, and trying to think in 3 dimensions in reverse while I'm on my back up there about where to cut in to try and get this. And so X marks the spot, and as you can see, we're right at the a bend here, a jog in the body, and I don't want to go past that. And this rear seat sill plate is welded here. I don't want to cut into that. And then right in here is like what they smeared in here for weather sealing, what, you know, all that kind of stuff back in them days. You can see some of it right here too, this stuff. So that's like right there too. So I'm hoping that once I cut a hole in there, I'll be able to see that bolt and get it out. And if I can't, it's really gonna suck. I don't know. I'll have to cut and see and go from there. Just, you know, that's what you gotta do. You gotta cut and see where you can go from there. Hopefully I can get it. Okay, I made the cut. Here's the result. dead balls on. That's the clamp, and you can see the fuel line. I ain't gonna hold the camera and all that kind of stuff while I wrench this off, but I'll come back and for a second here and see the result. So this is what it looks like. Half inch on top, flanged, self-threading bolt. Right, and there's the fuel line and the clamp that was being used. It was rust welded on there. I had to knock it loose a little bit with a screwdriver. But that being said, get the other one off in the back and we'll be good to go. And here's the piece I cut out. Right, I'll weld that back into place. So, okay, that came off better than expected. Got the nut out and all that. It's a Monday night after work. It's getting a little late. So the next segment you see after this will be a 2-0 Wednesday. And we'll work on getting that other one out. That's going to be a little bit more. I gotta get the subwoofer and the amp out of the trunk and see if I can take a center punch or a drill of something I have maybe. I don't know, my battery powered drill is kind of big and clunky. Might have to use the old-fashioned plug it in the wall kind, right? And snake that up there and drill a hole, or make a dent in the metal so I can feel on top in the trunk where it's at and all that kind of shit. So that'll be in the next segment. That'll be a 2-0 Wednesday after work. That's it. Hello. It's Thursday, and I'm posting this now because been working a little overtime and dealing with some family matters. So the next segment will come when probably the weekend. You know, I'll get that other bolt out, and that'll be the second segment. It'll be like a part 2 of what I'm trying to do here. So just, you know, keeping you updated here. That's all. Thanks.